What's up, it's Emma here from Array Citizens with a video about Bandai Namco's latest PC and Nintendo Switch release, Katamari Damacy REROLL. Katamari Damacy is by far one of the strangest games I've ever played. Released back in 2004 on the PlayStation 2, the premise of the game has you rolling up objects with an object called a Katamari, think of it as a really sticky ball, in order to rebuild stars and constellations. You start by rolling up small household objects like matches and erasers, and the more objects you roll, the bigger your Katamari grows. As it continues to grow, you're able to pick up bigger objects like Lego blocks and coins. By the end of the first few levels, your Katamari is able to hold things like cats and dogs. Describing this game to someone without having them watch gameplay will make you sound a little bit mental, but that's part of the game's charm. Good luck trying to tell your parents about how you played a game where you rolled up birthday cakes, old women on mobility scooters, and several cyclists to form a star. No matter how you phrase it, you're bound to come off as a little bit crazy. Despite being released 14 years ago, everything about Katamari Damacy largely holds up well today. There are some minor issues with performance on the PC version that we'll get to later, but the gameplay is as good now as it was back then. As for the default controls, especially on a controller, they might seem a bit awkward at first as all the movement is done using both analog sticks. However, as you continue to play the game, you'll adjust fairly quickly. No matter how familiar you are with the controls, one thing you'll struggle with at times is the camera. Just like a lot of games during the PlayStation 2 era, there are points where you'll struggle to see anything beyond your giant Katamari. There isn't much you can do when it comes to areas like this. You'll just have to hope you can play with a giant obstruction in front of you. This usually only happens when your Katamari has outgrown the level, and this should occur during the first 10 levels as these take place on a smaller scale. Speaking of the levels, players of all ages should be able to enjoy REROLL without struggling through the game. Each level can last anywhere between 6 minutes to almost half an hour in length, though you should be able to accomplish the objective within half the given time. REROLL is the type of game that you'll want to play after a long day, the kind where you don't have any difficult decisions to make. The colourful visuals alongside the excellent soundtrack will be enough to make most people happy. Katamari Damacy was made for the PlayStation 2, a console that has symmetrical sticks. I've read some reports about people struggling with the controls using asymmetrical sticks, like the Xbox One controller. However, I personally haven't had any issues throughout my playthrough. Katamari Damacy was not made for PC, and this is made very clear right from the beginning if you attempt to play the game without a controller. It's no surprise a game that relies heavily on using two analog sticks might be awkward to play on a keyboard, but we'd like to confirm that this is a truly horrific experience. Don't even consider purchasing this game without having a compatible controller, otherwise you'll be in for a terrible time. With regards to how the game runs, players can expect highs of 300 FPS, even on budget PCs. The problem is that Katamari Damacy was never intended to run above 30 FPS, as the game's physics are tied to the frame rate. As a result, despite your frame rate counter showing high numbers, the only aspects of the game that respond to that number will be the odd object on the stage and the prints in the corner. It would have been great to see this game running at 120Hz and beyond, but we'll have to settle for what we can get. Aside from the frame rate being capped, the only other major issues is that players have to complete the first level in order to gain access to the game's settings. By default, the options menu is not available until you reach the hub world. As a result, you're forced to play in a window for the first 10 minutes of the game. REROLL is far from a perfect remaster when it comes to performance, however, it still beats the alternative option of you having to plug in your PlayStation 2 to run the game. We haven't been able to verify for ourselves whether or not the Switch port of REROLL is any good, but from what we've heard, it should run as well as the PlayStation 2 version. For only £16 on Steam, it's very easy to recommend REROLL to both people who played the original Katamari Damacy and those who have yet to try it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe as it does really help us, and we hope to see you in our next video or stream. Take care.